Welcome to Painting with People. Today's episode is a little extra special. This episode was filmed live during the reception for the Painting with People gallery opening at the UNT CoLab here in downtown Denton. I had a live conversation with Kristen Bigley, the director over at the CoLab, and we sketched each other's portraits during the reception. Kristen was originally a sculptor, and today she makes jewelry when she's not promoting artists at the gallery or other downtown businesses as part of the Denton Main Street Association. All the paintings from the episodes that have aired so far, including the drawing for the episode you're about to watch, will be on display at the UNT CoLab until July 5th. I'll leave all that information in the description box below, so if you find yourself in Denton, you can stop by and see everything in person. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for the encouragement with this series. This is a passion project that I have had for years now, and it's been just wonderful to finally get it out for everyone to see, and hopefully these stories are helping encourage you or someone you know on your path to following your dreams as well. If you've enjoyed any part of this show, or if you want to help support the channel, subscribing is one of the easiest things that you can do. Thank you so much for your encouragement and support, and here is Painting with Kristen. Were you born here in Denton?
No, I'm from Manhattan. I'm a New Yorker. But I moved here when I was 5. My dad is actually from Denton. So we do have roots here. And I graduated high school in Denton.
Okay.
And I left as soon as I could. I didn't stay here for college.
But you came back.
I came back.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? I certainly did not. We came back about 10 years ago after living in Colorado for 15 years in the Denver area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you went to college, where did you go?
TCU in Fort Worth, so not very far.
Oh, okay. And then how long were you before you moved to Colorado?
I was in Fort Worth for about 7 years.
Yeah.
And then moved to Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah. Wanted to get out of Texas for a bit. I always thought that I would go back to the East Coast. I really did. I thought I wanted to go back to New York. I felt I never wanted to claim my Texas roots. And so I thought if I go back to the East Coast, if that's where I'm from, it's just so much cooler there, obviously. I don't know. And so after my husband and I got married, we actually took our honeymoon and we did like a tour of the East Coast. And I looked at graduate schools out there and actually, applied to quite a few, got into to one in Baltimore, and ultimately decided I didn't think that was the right fit after spending more time there, and decided to move to Colorado instead. And I think part of that was because I had such an amazing experience in undergrad. I didn't want to sort of taint this incredible experience that I had by having a less than incredible experience. So I just kind of felt like maybe I just needed to get away from it all for a bit. I wasn't totally sold on school at that time, and so we moved.
And your degree is in sculpture?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
What were your favorite things to sculpt?
I actually was a figurative sculptor.
Figurative?
Yes.
So you do have a lot of
experience.
I
do, but I'm way out of practice.
Yeah.
So this was
I get that.
A little bit of pressure. Yeah. I'm like, proportion, what's that?
Yeah. Did you end up going to grad school?
I didn't. No. I ended up working full time and doing life and family, and that all kind of fell off to the back burner, and I didn't go back, and I regretted it for a long time. I really thought, gosh, I was missing out. I thought, that was a regret of mine, and I don't know, after coming back and talking to people and realizing that school serves a good purpose, and I'd already had a really great experience in school, that maybe I was okay to just practice as an artist. And so I tried to find ways to be creative in any way that I could, even if it wasn't doing sculpture. And then I eventually decided I needed to work smaller because working life size wasn't really
It's hard.
Feasible.
Yeah.
And
You need a lot of space
Yeah.
and a lot of, it's expensive.
you need a studio.
You need a studio and-
You need, and in that case, I was doing life-size cast bronze
Oh my gosh.
and life-size ceramic pieces.
Oh my gosh.
And you need kiln space. You need a foundry. You need things. And I'll be honest, I think I did it a little bit out of me wanting to prove that I could, because here I am, this petite thing.
Yeah. Doing the life size.
Doing
like, the
life
big-
size, and I was like, I just want to see how much I can do. I want to see how big I can go. Like, let's do it. Let's go big. So I did it, and it's kind of like I did it, and I could say I did, and then I could move on. And I realized my body wasn't going to cooperate with me forever either. So I had to kind of change focus and work smaller. I had a really bad reaction to some materials that I started working with. So I tried to get back into sculpture back in Colorado and did a portrait of my son, and it was in plasticine. I did a mold, and then I cast it in this resin. It was like a 2-part epoxy resin. And I had a horrible reaction to it. It went systemic. I had to go on all kinds of stuff to get it cleared out of my system. And then I had reactions from the others. It was a nightmare situation. I was like, I can't expose my body to these toxic chemicals. That's not helpful. And then also, what's the environmental impact on this as well? Like, I don't want to be putting this out into the air, in the house with having
your family,
kids. So that really
I
had me questioning what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I just really need to work smaller.
Yeah.
I need to figure out how to work smaller. I was knitting during that time and getting into fiber, and I got a spinning wheel, and I learned how to spin yarn and dye yarn and do all this stuff, but that wasn't really doing it for me. It just wasn't quite satisfying my need to, get my hands really dirty, I guess, and tactile. I guess I'm just going to tell you my story. Do you have specific questions? I can just keep going.
No, you can keep going.
All right. So,
I've got questions.
So I decided to learn how to make jewelry. I thought that sounded like something I would really enjoy. It's small. It's something you can do in your house without a lot of space. The tools I was already familiar with when you look at, hammers and saws and all of that kind of stuff. It's just, it feels comfortable for me because I already use all that stuff. So
Just on a smaller scale.
on a smaller scale, on a miniature scale. So I got some books, recycled, and I started figuring it out and taught myself basically how to make jewelry and how to solder, and loved it, absolutely loved it. Couldn't believe I hadn't found it sooner. It felt like the perfect fit for me. So that's what I've been doing for the last 9 years.
Oh my gosh. And so you started jewelry when you moved here.
Yes, that's right.
Wow. Do you still have any of your sculptures?
I do.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We've so it's hard to find places for other life-size pieces in your house, especially when they're ceramic and so anyway, we've got this one gal, her name's Fawn. She's currently in our bedroom, just hanging out in the corner. She's ceramic. She has a coil-built piece that I did when I went up to Alfred University to take a ceramics class and a figurative ceramics class, and kind of learned this technique from an artist called Doug Jeck that was coil building really massive coils to create forms.
Okay.
Like, essentially, it's just a giant pot. So anyway, that is one that I still have. There's one in the garden that got broken that she's just kind of hanging out too. But they're around. They've got homes in various places.
Do you see yourself ever going back into a large format, or do you think you're
no, I really
done?
don't.
Yeah.
I think, like I mentioned, it was hard on my body, and as I'm, advancing in age, trips to the chiropractor are more frequent.
Yeah.
And, there's other kind of things I have to consider, and even I'll say it's a little tough even with jewelry because there's my hands can cramp up if I'm doing a lot of really small detail work. I definitely have to take breaks and make sure I'm not, just
like
hunching or
over
doing things like that, because you can get really
it's so tiny, you can get really focused
specific.
in. And
yeah, you start setting stones and things like that, and it can get pretty tedious.
Yeah.
So I definitely have to be mindful of that and try to be healthy with my body. I think I probably did a lot of damage when I was younger, just not really paying attention to stuff,
I used to, when I did one semester at an art school, and I really wanted to take sculpting classes because I wanted to be able to learn how to use all like the really cool big tools and I feel like really powerful, like look what I can do.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. What would you have done?
I would have done figures.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you, it wasn't the popular thing to be doing in art school in the 90s. So I kind of felt like I was forging a battle of keeping like a more traditional sort of approach alive where there wasn't a whole lot of appreciation for that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've felt that way, but...
I went to a pretty traditional, I went to the community college, Collin College, here in the Metroplex.
Right.
And my figure drawing professor was a graduate from the New York Academy of Fine Art, and so it was very figurative,
Yeah, you were lucky.
Yeah, I got so lucky with
Right.
that. And then I ended up doing a semester at that art school in Connecticut,
Yes.
which was again just very much a figurative based school. So I mean, in that aspect, it was really encouraged.
Right.
But then I just stopped pursuing art for forever until just a few years ago.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad you picked it back up.
thanks. Me too. I've loved it. Do you have like a favorite piece that you've ever done? Whether it's
like jewelry
sculpture or jewelry.
Yeah, that's a great question. My favorite piece is the last piece I did.
Oh, I love that.
It's true.
Yeah.
I am always like, wow, this is great. I love it. I need to do more of these. And then I'm not good at production work. I try to do more and I'm like, oh, I'm bored. I got to move on to something else.
So you just like individual pieces versus...
Or techniques or just things that I've found that worked well. And yeah, I really am terrible at production. Like doing the same thing multiple times.
I get that.
Can't do it.
I get that.
I don't know what I'm doing right now.
One of the reasons that it took so long to, I think, get the series out is because editing is pretty repetitive and I just get really, really bored.
Oh, I can't even imagine editing. I don't even do reels. I don't know how you all do
Oh my gosh.
this. I can't
Reels
imagine.
are something else.
I sort of refuse. I've done a couple and I'm like, yeah, I hate it. Moving on. I'm just gonna post a picture.
And so how long have you've been working here since 2019, you said?
Yeah, late 2019, almost 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was brought
great timing.
in. I know. It was a wild time to start a new job. And then we moved into this building because we needed to find a new space. And that was March 2020.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so we all know how March
How that
2020
went.
went. And it was definitely an adventure trying to figure out how to, move a whole business over while we were in the middle of
there's
this,
not
unprecedented.
going on.
Yeah. But honestly, in the end, it worked out great. It was a very soft opening, and that gave us time to kind of figure stuff out and do some testing with things and just kind of establish ourselves within the community in a way that people could find us again.
Yeah.
So it worked out, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know how I could have done it if I had had to do it really fast. I think that would have been that would have been a whole different kind of challenge. But in the end, I'm grateful for the challenge in the way that it presented itself, and that we got to kind of have this extra soft opening and do things that way.
Time to figure it out. I feel like it's just been a really great success, honestly.
Thank you. It's definitely been a process of working to become sort of established in the community and for people to find us.
Yeah.
UNT on the Square existed for 10 years. It was well known. It was a great resource for the community. And then we moved and changed the name, and that kind of confused people.
But it's the same
It's the
original
same operation.
concept that's just kind of transformed.
Yep, it's the same operation, just a little bit different we now have the retail portion, and that's been extremely successful. We get to sort of incubate with people, like trying new products and showcasing things that the public maybe hadn't seen here, or just bring interesting products in and creating our own and having like unique Denton goods. So that's been really fun.
What's one of your favorite parts of working down here and working here?
Oh, man, I love downtown.
Same.
Yeah, it's what's not to love? I mean, really, it's such, the business owners are great, the patrons are fantastic. I mean, I worked in malls for a long time with my previous job.
You did what?
I worked in malls.
Oh, yeah.
I was a district manager and oversaw like 15 to 20 stores in a region, and I never want to step foot in a mall again. I really just enjoy the being local, the personality, supporting, these smaller businesses, and it's so much more interesting. So,
I love that. I love that. So, do you have any future personal art goals? And what do you want to do? Because you're always supporting all of the artists down here.
I want to get back into having a little bit more studio time.
Yeah.
It's definitely a challenge when we're doing all the other things to like find the time to also be creative and productive in the studio. So I think that's, for me, I took about 6 months off this year to help my mom with, some health stuff and just do some other things that needed some attention. And I definitely want to get back. I miss it. And I would say, yeah, I've got my eyes on some new tools that I would like. I would definitely like to do casting on a small scale because I had done casting previously. I would love to have like a jewelry casting setup. I think that would be incredible. So maybe one day. That's something I definitely need an investment in some additional tools and supplies and stuff like that. So yeah, I think, and just maybe I'm a multidisciplinary artist in the sense that I like to try all kinds of things. And I would say I'm a DIYer and want to kind of do it all. And that, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing sometimes, because you just can't do it all.
Yeah.
Even though I want to do it all. So I don't know, I've got to, I guess, pick where to spend my time.
Yeah, which is honestly the hardest. I feel like I'm always like, oh, I have all these ideas, and I sit down and I'm like, wait, now what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Oop, there we go.
I would like to make shoes. I mean, like shoes? Random stuff. Like, I just think that would be fun to learn how to do that. But then, then that takes time away from the studio and other things. So I probably shouldn't do that one. But
maybe not yet. You start somewhere else.
Yeah. I like to, I've started sewing again. So
yes, I've seen you
some of my own clothes.
Work on your clothes. Yeah. I love that.
It's very gratifying. I'd like to think that in a zombie apocalypse, I'd be a pretty valuable asset. Because I can sew, I can knit, I'm handy with tools.
You could build something if you needed to.
I could get it done.
I love that.
So maybe that.
Yeah. So since you were in Denton when you were younger. What's some of like the biggest and most surprising changes that you've seen here? There's a lot.
There's a lot. The fact that Razor Ranch used to be a ranch with longhorns, so that was like a pretty big change. I would say just coming back over the years and seeing all the apartments that have come up, especially around UNT in that area, that was a huge change.
Yeah.
There used to be a hospital over there, so it's interesting to see how
the development has come in and just taken over.
For sure.
Were you involved in the art, that kind of like art scene back then before you moved, or?
Yes, sort of, yes. I was kind of a late bloomer when it came to the art stuff. I was good. I was really good, and I would get awards during elementary school and stuff when we had contests and things. But I wasn't really pursuing it until my senior year of high school, and I had jaw surgery and had to stop doing orchestra. And I had extra time in my schedule, and I ended up taking a couple of art classes my senior year, and just absolutely found that was it. That's what I had been missing. I should have been doing it all along. I had done some private lessons here and there. I had done, I dabbled in lots of stuff because we had artists in our family, and so it definitely was something I was exposed to.
Yeah.
But I didn't really start taking it seriously until my senior year. And I feel like, had I maybe found it a little sooner, that would have been helpful, but I got involved with it as soon as I could.
Yeah. Okay, well, the timer just went off.
Are we done?
So if we want to take just a second finish
Are we
up.
really done?
We can finish up and then reset, and we'll show each other our drawings.
Okay.
Our first drawings with people.
Wow.
I'm still like,
was
what
fast.
did I do?
That was
Not-
so
It was so fast.
so fast.
It's
I
just
like-
really not a long time.
No.
I remember in art school, like, self-portrait was like an assignment every week. We had to draw a self-portrait.
Did you
but
have
it
a
was
time
like,
on it?
Yeah, 30 minutes.
That's
But then
quick.
it wasn't, you weren't talking. You were focusing on your
Right, but still, that's quick.
Yeah.
Oh man. You gonna tell me pencils down? Like, do I get
Pencils down.
Oh
I'm almost there. How do you feel?
no. I mean, I feel okay.
Good.
I would certainly give it a lot more.
Uh-huh,
but,
yeah, same.
I'm good. I'm good.
It's nerve-wracking that this is about to go up on the wall here.
Yeah, we're not thinking about that right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
ready? 1, 2, 3.
Good. Oh, I absolutely see myself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
that's amazing.
We did it! Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank
that
you
was
for
great.
just being such a huge encouragement to
Oh.
me and all the artists.
Absolutely.
Here in
It
Denton.
is my absolute pleasure, and it's a wonderful show. We're so glad you're here. And thank
Thank
you all
you.
for being here and joining us for this really special
Thank you.
moment. So.